Today on the podcast, I want to bring you some really interesting news out of, to be honest, one of my favorite audio AI companies, and that is ElevenLabs. So ElevenLabs has broken some new ground in voice synthesis with AI dubbing. We're going to talk about everything they're doing with this new feature and this new update, and why I think this is going to be a big game changer when it comes to AI and audio generation. So let's dive into it. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to AIbox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to AIbox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. The world of voice cloning and synthesis, I think, is about to have a fairly big seismic shift. And I think all of this is thanks to ElevenLabs' groundbreaking product, which is AI dubbing. So the startup, which is, I think, one of like the best AI audio startups out there. There's Well Said Labs, which is pretty decent. But in all the ones I've tried out personally, I've used them for a number of different projects. ElevenLabs does a really good job, and they of course have a cool feature where they can clone your voice with just a couple seconds of your own audio recording. So this startup, ElevenLabs, I think it was established like just a year ago, and it was created by some former Google and Palantir workers. In any case, they unveiled this new offering that can convert any speech, even long-form narratives, into more than 20 languages. So this development, I think, presents a really game-changing solution in an industry traditionally dominated by manual efforts, right? I mean, when you think about it, at the moment you have big, huge YouTubers like Mr. Beast. He creates dubs, like he dubs all of his videos into different languages. He has like a Spanish channel that I think is almost as big as his English channel. And in order to do that, he literally has to hire voice actors in those countries to dub over the voices in different languages. And it's kind of interesting. I recently saw like a clip of him, and he was saying like when he went to Japan, that the voiceover people take it so seriously that are like doing his voiceovers that they try to think like him and act like him and whatever. They got this whole thing going on, right? I guess it's a pretty big, important gig for them. But in any case, what was really interesting to me about all of it is they're like, sometimes like we just like wonder why you say certain words. Like, I guess they were like complaining that he said Lamborghini because it's really hard to translate into like Japanese. And they're like, why can't you just say Ferrari or BMW or something? Anyways, kind of funny. But like those people take their jobs very, very seriously. And I think they cost a ton of money. I know he spends a lot of money on getting all of his videos translated, dubbed, whatever. So having a company like ElevenLabs be able to come in and do it is a game changer. Now, this technology isn't necessarily like new, and this isn't the first time everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is possible, because pretty much what these technologies are doing, these voice dubs, is they're training off of your English voice or whatever language you speak, and then they're able to use your own voice and translate that into a bunch of different languages. Now, of course, this has been a cool feature. Spotify has, announced recently in partnership with OpenAI. So OpenAI is kind of in this space where they're going to be doing this for a bunch of podcasts. So I think Lex Fridman and Joe Rogan, and actually I'm not 100% sure about Joe Rogan. Definitely Lex Fridman is getting this. And they're going to like roll out like Spanish and Portuguese and something else as like kind of the first pilot. And they're like, yeah, maybe other people will get it in the future. So I don't know like what that whole product pipeline is going to look like when that's actually going to roll out. And so for me, that's why I think it's really exciting when you see someone like ElevenLabs doing this, because of course the big companies are going to try to integrate it, but they're going to roll this thing out slowly. They're going to be careful. It's got to be perfect, yada, yada. Meanwhile, like myself, I obviously am not in the pilot program of my podcast getting translated into other languages, but I think that would be fantastic. But boom, now I have an ability to do this with ElevenLabs. And so I think this is fantastic. And I think this is a really big move because, of course, a lot of people will be like, hey, this technology, we've been hearing announcements about this for a while, but this is one of the first times that I'm hearing this from a company that like literally anyone can go and use, anyone can pull this off. You can make an account. And the cool thing about ElevenLabs is that it has API access, meaning you can integrate this into other existing softwares very easily. So a lot of people are going to be able to build this into actual tools and products. We're going to be seeing this feature roll out very quickly, I believe. So I think for tons of content creators, especially people that have a ton of money to invest in manual translation, the language barrier, it's really long been kind of this daunting challenge, like I mentioned with Mr. Beast. And I think this is going to change a little bit. This is what the CEO specifically said of ElevenLabs, quote, "We collaborated with hundreds of content creators to refine this feature, ensuring content becomes universally accessible. From independent video producers and podcasters to large film and TV studios, we believe our tool offers immense value." So although ElevenLabs emphasizes the product's ability to generate high-quality translations in just minutes, I think its standout feature is the preservation, of course, of the original voice. This is what's cool. This isn't just translating this to another voice. It's keeping your voice, and what's really interesting about this is beyond your voice, it's keeping your emotional nuances and your intonations. So if you're excited about something, if you're sad about something, it's going to keep all of that. This is incredible, something that, really only AI can do, I believe. To this level. So very, very exciting. And I'm excited that, ElevenLabs is going to be pulling this off. So while I think the technical capability of this is pretty impressive, I think it's actually pretty simple when it comes to actually producing these. So essentially you're going to be able to initiate a new project, define the source and target languages, and then you just upload your content. And the system then automatically identifies the number of speakers in the file, which is cool, right? So if I have a podcast and I'm interviewing someone or multiple people, it differentiates speech from background noise and music. So you could have a clip that's, pulled off of YouTube or something and there's music in the background. And then the user experience is super streamlined. It has a progress bar. It's got some, some other little tools and stuff that are cool. So I think the platform's magic kind of unfolds behind the curtains. So ElevenLabs leverages a bunch of different proprietary techniques to filter out background disturbances while really ensuring that individual voices remain distinct, which of course is going to be a challenge, especially when you have multiple people all in the same call or in the same meeting or podcast or, setting, whatever. And then the content undergoes a speech to text transformation in the original language, right? So first they're going to listen to it. They're going to make captions for the whole thing. And then it's going to be adapted and they're going to grab the voice snippets out of it. They're going to train the voice models off of the voice snippets. And then they're going to be able to produce it. So this is super, super cool. There's a lot of really impressive features in here that just aren't anywhere else. I think really kind of unveiling this product shows the convergence of ElevenLabs' extensive research in voice cloning, audio processing, and multilingual speech synthesis. Because their latest multilingual V2 model, which powers the translated speech generation, it currently supports languages from Hindi and Spanish to Ukrainian and Arabic. There's a ton of different stuff in there. So it's kind of cool. Right now, when I explain the process of that, right? You upload, let's say Mr. Beast uploads a YouTube video, it grabs everyone that talks in the whole video and translates, and it pulls out, it differentiates the music in the background and the sound effects and all that kind of stuff, pulls it out. It's really, really cool because all of that sounds like a super impressive thing, but really it's just little pieces of what they have been working on and pieces of features that they already have in place. So I think while ElevenLabs previously provided separate tools for voice cloning, text-to-speech synthesis, this is all a lot more complex as they're kind of bringing it all together. And I think AI dubbing is going to have some character restrictions. So it's going to be roughly 1 minute of AI dubbing to 3,000 characters. ElevenLabs innovation, I think right now is definitely turning heads. A lot of people are looking at this, but they're not the only people they're not really the only people, as I mentioned, that are doing this whole AI-powered voice solution. So OpenAI, of course, recently is having this whole thing. They're introducing voice responsive conversations similar to Alexa. Both of these companies, of course, are using similar speech to text and text to speech models, but I think there's a key distinction in accessibility, right? OpenAI currently has collaborations with exclusive partners like, Spotify, of course, like I was telling you about. And then, you have someone like ElevenLabs, which is just opening this up to everyone. So I think this whole realm is going to see participation from some big players. I think there's also ones like Murph AI, Play.ht, ElevenLabs, like I mentioned. Even Meta recently kind of got into the arena with Seamless M4T, which is an open source multilingual model capable of real-time translations across, I think, like 100 languages. But of course, that's more targeted to developers. So the average person can't grab that, whereas like ElevenLabs, like anyone can go grab that regardless of their technical background. So according to data from Market US, I think this industry is valued at about $1.2 billion as of last year, and it's projected to grow to about $5 billion by 2032. So growing to a CAGR just above 15%. Clearly, I think the era of AI-driven voice solutions is just getting started. Very exciting company that we will continue to follow.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.